Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when we look back and feel trapped in memories, in regrets, and what ifs and if onlys. The past can feel like heavy chains around our ankles, slowing us down just when we're trying to run. But let me ask you today, how long will you let the ghosts of yesterday haunt the home of your heart? We all carry scars, some visible, some buried beneath the surface of our smiles. But I want you to know something very important today. Your scars are not signs of your weakness. They are stamps of your survival. Every single one of them tells a story of how you lived, how you fell, and most importantly, how you got back up. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what you choose to do after it happened. I know it's hard to let go. Letting go doesn't mean you're erasing the past. It means you're choosing not to let it control you anymore. It means you're tired of bleeding for wounds that no longer serve your growth. Letting go is not forgetting, it is forgiving. And forgiveness is an act of self-love. There comes a time when we must redesign the blueprint of our lives. If the past was a storm, let the future be your sunrise. Start where you are, use what you have. You are more than enough. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a persistent heart. Sometimes we wait for the world to validate us before we begin again. But the truth is, you don't need the world to clap for your courage. You don't need permission to rebuild. You are the permission. Speak light over your life. Speak peace over your pain. Speak hope into the cracks of your broken dreams. What you say to yourself shapes the path you walk. So don't speak defeat into your journey. Speak resilience. Speak growth. Speak the life you want to live. And if today is heavy, that's okay. You rest, but don't give up. Healing is not linear. Healing here. Strength is not loud. Sometimes it's just the quiet decision to try again tomorrow. So to every soul listening, break the chains. Not because the past disappears, but because you are choosing to rise. And this time, you rise with purpose. Your scars are not your shackles. They're your strength. There is something incredibly human about pain. It touches all of us, wraps itself around our moments of failure, loss, heartbreak, and betrayal. Some people carry it quietly, with trembling hands and silent nights. Others wear it openly, etched across their expressions, their bodies, their stories. And yet, the one thing that connects us all is this. We have all been broken in some way. We have all stood at the edge of ourselves, wondering how we'll ever get back up. And when we look at the scars, emotional, mental, physical, we often view them as evidence of weakness, as memories we wish we could erase. But the truth is, your scars don't hold you down. They prove you made it through. Had it through. Every scar is a sign that you survived something you once thought would destroy you. Think about that. That heartbreak that left you breathless, you're still here. That failure that made you doubt your worth, you're still standing. That loss that shattered your world, you're still breathing, you're still breathing. And in every breath, every step forward, every act of courage you've taken since then, there's power. A kind of power you don't read in books or learn in classrooms. A power born from surviving your own darkness. The world often teaches us to hide our wounds. Don't be vulnerable, they say. Or don't let them see you struggle. But strength isn't found in pretending. Strength lives in the raw, unfiltered truth of your journey. The paths you wish no one knew. The nights you cried yourself to sleep. The mornings you forced yourself out of bed, even when your soul begged to stay down. That's real. That's strength. Because healing isn't a switch. It's a decision made again and again, sometimes with trembling fingers and tear-filled eyes. And every time you chose to keep going, even when you felt hollow, you were building something inside you that no one could take away. Resilience. Pain changes you. It either makes you bitter or it makes you better. And the choice, though hard, is always yours. When we resist the past, when we deny the parts of us that were hurt, we give them more power than they deserve. But when we acknowledge them, when we stop running and finally sit with the ache, we begin to reclaim our story. We stop being victims of circumstance and start becoming the authors of our own transformation. You see, what broke you yesterday is shaping who you become today. That's not just a comforting thought. It's the blueprint of growth. Think of the strongest people you've ever met. The ones who walk into a room and radiate depth, compassion, strength. I promise you, they've suffered. They've known failure. They've known rejection. They've known what it feels like to have the ground fall from beneath their feet. But instead of staying down, they rose, bruised, yes, but wiser. Not despite the pain, but because of it. You don't need to be ashamed of what you've been through. That experience that made you feel broken, it carved space inside you for empathy, for strength, for vision. The people who feel the deepest are often the ones who've been hurt the most. The people who uplift others have often learned what it feels like to fall. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Your scars may always be part of you, but they don't define you, they refine you. They are proof that you fought battles no one saw and came out the other side. Maybe not unscathed, but alive. You're still here, and that means there's more ahead. More chapters, more strength to uncover. We tell ourselves, I'll never let anyone do that to me again. And that's valid. But in truth, unforgiveness doesn't make us strong. It makes us hard. It closes us off. It builds walls so high around our hearts that not only can no one get in, but eventually we can't get out either. We become prisoners of our own past. There's a moment in everyone's life when you realize that letting go doesn't mean letting someone off the hook. It means letting yourself off the hook. The constant replaying of the hurt, the endless what ifs, the late night conversations in your mind where you say all the things you never got to say is exhausting. It steals your joy in the present and clouds your hope for the future. And forgiveness, gentle and quiet as it is, comes like a whisper and says, you don't have to carry this anymore. It's one of the hardest decisions you'll ever make, to forgive someone who isn't sorry, to release a hurt that changed you, to choose peace over justice. But it's not about whether they deserve it. It's about whether you deserve to heal. Because you do. You deserve to walk lightly again. You deserve to laugh without guilt, to breathe without heaviness, to love without fear. And none of that can happen if your hands are still clenched around old wounds. We think forgiveness is a one-time act. But more often than not, it's a process. It's waking up every day and choosing not to let the past define how we treat ourselves or others. It's reminding ourselves that pain may have touched me, but it doesn't own me. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it takes years, sometimes you think you've let go, and then something reminds you, and the anger returns. That's okay. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. Wasu. What matters is that each time the pain resurfaces, you respond with grace. Each time it tempts you to go back into bitterness, you take one more step toward release. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is one of the bravest acts of self-liberation, the self-liberation. It says, you hurt me, but you no longer have the power to hurt me again. It says, I'm choosing to move forward, not because what happened is forgettable, but because I am not going to relive it anymore. And this decision, this inner shift, is what starts to change everything. Your posture, your perspective, your peace. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means remembering without reliving. It means acknowledging the hurt while also acknowledging that you've outgrown it. It means no longer allowing someone else's actions to shape how you feel about yourself. And that kind of freedom, you make space for healing, for hope, for joy that isn't overshadowed by pain. So if your heart is heavy with the weight of unforgiveness, know this, you don't have to let it go all at once. But you can start. You can choose to soften, even if it's just a little. You can choose to breathe. You can choose peace, not for them, but for you. Because forgiveness was never about fixing the past. It was always about freeing the future. Redesign the blueprint of your life. There comes a point when you look around and realize that the life you're living doesn't quite match the life you once dreamed of. Maybe it's the choices you didn't make. Maybe it's the people who left, the doors that closed, or the moments that broke your heart. Somewhere along the way, the vision you held so tightly began to blur. But here's the truth, just because the first version of your story didn't unfold the way you hoped, doesn't mean it's over. Life is not a rigid plan carved in stone. It's a blueprint, and blueprints can be redrawn. We often believe that because something didn't happen by a certain time, we've missed our chance. That if we took a wrong turn or faced too many setbacks, we've lost the right to dream again. But that belief is a lie. The future isn't determined by what happened to you. It's created by what you choose to do next. You are not stuck. You are not too late. You are not too broken to begin again. The blueprint of your life is in your hands, and you have the power to redesign it with the strength you've gained from every storm you've survived. It doesn't require perfection to begin again. It doesn't require having all the answers, all the resources, or a flawless plan. It simply requires a willingness to stop looking back and to start moving forward with intention. It requires courage. The kind of courage that whispers, even if I don't know exactly where this will lead, I'm going anyway. Because courage is the first brick in building something new. And every small, brave step you take from where you are now begins to reshape the foundation of your future. Start from where you are, not from where you wish you were, not from the version of you that didn't fall or fail, you that didn't fall off, but from the you that exists right now, wiser, tougher, and more aware than ever before. Too often, we wait for the perfect moment to start over. We wait until we feel confident, until we're certain, until we think we are finally ready. But life rarely gives us that luxury. If you wait for everything to line up perfectly, you might never begin. The truth is, all you have is this moment, and that's enough. Use what you have. Maybe it's not much. Maybe all you have is the will to try again, but that is more powerful than you know. Don't underestimate what can grow from humble beginnings. A single decision, a single shift in mindset, a single act of bravery. That's all it takes to begin the process of change. You don't need an entire map. You need a direction, a step, and then another. Momentum is built one small movement at a time. Moving forward doesn't mean erasing the past. It means refusing to be imprisoned by it. It means learning from what hurt you without allowing it to define your entire identity. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to change your mind, rewrite your dreams, and become someone your past never imagined. In fact, that's the beauty of growth. You can outgrow the pain. You can outgrow the story. You can become someone who not only survived, but thrived. The blueprint of your life doesn't have to follow someone else's design. It doesn't have to fit into society's timeline or expectations. Your path is your own. And the more you embrace its uniqueness, the more powerful it becomes. Don't be afraid to build slowly. Don't be afraid to build differently, reach differently. You are the architect of your future, and there is no wrong way to build something with heart. There will be moments when fear creeps in, when doubt whispers that you can't change, that it's too late, that you don't have what it takes. But those voices don't speak truth. They speak the language of fear. And fear has no place in the blueprint you're redesigning. Let faith be your compass. Let resilience be your material. Let hope be the light that guides your hands. Because when you design from a place of hope, you begin to construct not just a life, but a legacy. The foundation you build today becomes the ground you'll stand on tomorrow. So build it intentionally. Build it bravely. Build it with a heart that knows its worth. Every setback, every disappointment, every moment of pain has prepared you for this. You didn't come this far to stay stuck in a story that no longer fits who you're becoming. The blueprint is yours now. And with every line you draw, every wall you tear down, every dream you dare to dream again, you are telling the world, I'm not finished. I'm just getting started. Speak light over your journey. Words are not just sounds. They are seeds. What you speak into your life, especially in moments of fear, failure, or uncertainty, becomes the foundation upon which your future is built. Your inner dialogue matters. The way you talk to yourself, the beliefs you repeat in your mind, the stories you choose to hold on to, they shape everything. And while life doesn't always give you control over what happens to you, it always gives you the power to choose the narrative you attach to it. That's where your strength lies. In choosing to speak hope over hurt, growth over grief, and possibility over pain. So often we are our own harshest critics. We replay mistakes like broken records. We speak to ourselves in ways we'd never speak to a friend. I'm not good enough. They'll never get past this. We always mess things up. But these words may feel harmless in the moment, but over time, they dig trenches in our spirit. They tell our hearts that we are less than capable. They build invisible walls that keep us from trying again, from dreaming bigger, from rising after we fall. But you can change the story. You can rewrite the script. You can look at the same moment of failure and speak life into it instead. Instead of saying, I failed, say, I learned. Instead of saying, I'm lost, say, I'm finding my way. Instead of saying, I'll never be okay, say, I'm healing one step at a time. It may sound simple, but this shift is powerful because your mind believes what you consistently feed it. Speak light long enough and your mind will start to seek it. And where your thoughts go, your actions follow. Think of your journey like a garden. Every thought, every word is a seed. If you plant doubt, you'll grow fear. If you plant shame, you'll grow silence. But if you plant courage, compassion, and faith, your future will bloom with strength. This doesn't mean you ignore reality or pretend everything is perfect. It means you choose to be intentional with your perspective. It means you honor your pain, but you also honor your power. It means you speak in a way that builds, not breaks. When the path gets hard, and it will, it's easy to fall into the trap of negativity. It's easy to let circumstances define your confidence. But what if, in the middle of the storm, you spoke peace? What if you chose to remind yourself that this moment isn't the end of your story? What if you held on to the belief that even now, something beautiful could be unfolding behind the scenes? That kind of mindset doesn't make the struggle disappear, but it makes you stronger in it. Stronger in it. And that strength will carry you farther than fear ever could. Speaking light isn't just about affirmations or motivational quotes. It's about telling yourself the truth, especially when lies feel louder. It's reminding yourself that your worth isn't based on your worst days, It's saying, I am still capable, even when the world makes you doubt it. It's claiming your right to joy, peace, and growth, even when circumstances try to steal it. And the more you speak like this, the more your life begins to align with those words. There's a sacred kind of resilience that grows when you stop tearing yourself down and start lifting yourself up. When you stop echoing the voices that told you you're not enough and start becoming the voice that says, you are more than enough. You don't have to wait for everything to be perfect before you speak light. You speak it now, right in the middle of your uncertainty, your healing, your becoming. Because that's when it matters the most. That's when your soul needs it the most. You have walked through things that tried to dim your light. You have lived through moments that could have made you bitter. But you're still here, still breathing, still trying. That is not weakness, that is strength. And you deserve to speak to yourself like someone who is worthy of a beautiful, purpose-filled life. Because you are. Every word of light you speak over your journey is a brick in the foundation of the future you're building. A future rooted in hope. A future led by faith. A future defined not by what tried to break you, but by what you chose to believe about yourself when it did. So don't underestimate the power of your voice. Speak life into your dreams. Speak kindness into your healing. Speak strength into your setbacks. Change the narrative. Speak hope. Speak growth. Speak possibility. Because your voice, your truth, is the compass that guides your journey forward.